Sounds like a you problem.
Now I've said it out aloud. Yes, I would agree. Put it this way, I'm a qualified engineer with years of experience, just not in this particular field.
What are you calling it fired for? Rather not say for personal reasons. He adjusted his safety helmet on his head and looked back up at the pylon.
Whatever he's hiding, it isn't pleasant. It destroyed something in him.
What is it that you do?
I'm hired to perform any necessary maintenance on the arteries.
Okay.
Technical words that only mean something to those with the prerequisite knowledge.
Still unclear on these arteries, actually.
The wireless phone network is routed through electronic boxes called arteries. They work like the old terminal boxes, except there are no cables or wires.
Okay.
Renotel has been upgrading its payphones across the city. They pretty much all run on wireless signals now.
We strive boldly into the. Yep. Strange, isn't it? We can send telephone data through the air now using radio phone.
Mad, isn't it? We can send telephony data through the air now using radiophonics. Renotel is developing a range of products with this technology, including portable phones, intercoms, headsets, and cordless scanners.
Cool. We may have been on ice for 5 years, but the adorable march of progress certainly has. So how do they work? Anytime you pick up a Renault payphone, the data travels through the air from where you are into one of those boxes, and it has been routed to whoever it is you're calling. I'm using a non. There are no non payphones left in portfolio. Mr. Reno has an exclusive contract.
The result of non-competitive bidding and a bit of self-dealing on the part of the city's governing elite.
Who's Reno?
The owner of Renotel, the rich guy at the top of it all. The company is named after him. Imagine being the one man in charge of telecommunications across the city.
Very clearly charging forward a techno-fascist destiny. As long as payphones work, I don't really care.
I guess so. Doesn't make my job any easier, though. Where to even start? I'm scared of heights, wild boars, drains, tuk-tuks, teenagers, the moon.
The moon? What the? I'm scared of the moon. What's wrong with the moon? I want to know.
You haven't been there.
And you have?
He doesn't answer, at least not with words. No need when your body language matches a spider as it stiffly curls up in a ball to die.
Sounds like you're scared of modern existence.
Pretty much. That's part of what makes this job so hard.
Good news, machines will place you soon. You'll never have to work again.
The technician gulps as he stands there, looking helpless.
How did these fears come about?
I've had them for about a decade. I only had one or two at first, then slowly acquired more and more over the years.
Okay.
He grimaces, wearing the same look as when you asked him about the moon.
This has something to do with the moon, doesn't it?
As I already said, I would rather not talk about it.
Maybe you should get some professional.
Scared of that too.
Get off that too. Sorry to hear life's been so hard on you.
Yes, so am I. A terrible thing to live within the ruins of the self. But we keep going any way we can.
So you want to fix something up there?
Yes, one of the old terminals. It's a terrible tangle of cables up there, but I can handle that. The part I'm struggling with is climbing up this ladder. I'm acrophobic, one of my many fears.
I can climb it there for you.
Oh no, you really shouldn't. Not only is it dangerous, but qualified Renotel technicians are the only persons permitted up there.
What is it that you need to do?
It's complicated, not something I can teach you in a day.
Oh, I failed with that? Game, some pointers how to improve your technical know-how. What did I miss? Point at the device. It's auto negotiator, brand new. He shrugs, helpless. Can't keep up with all these devices. What does it do?
Lots of things. Primarily, it picks up wireless networks, radio frequencies, and electrical signals so you can track their source.
Cool. Mainly use it to locate old terminal boxes and batteries and diagnose problems. You'd rather do things the old-fashioned way, right?
It would be more relevant to my experience, but I'm retired from that sort of work at least.
Huh. Move on from me.
I wish I could say that, but it's an integral part of my job. You'll have to be more specific. Seen a couple of guys who match that description. Not that I pay much attention to them.
Got bald spots?
I don't think I'm tall enough to see other men's bald spots. They're quite common as well, you know?
White shirt, brown tires?
The uniform of all those type of men. You'll have to give me something else. Good point. It's been a while since I saw them. Long enough that I don't remember where.
The shooter pod wouldn't have been here a while ago.
Right you are.
I used to live there. Go call it living.
Same as everyone else. Mining cadmium, lithium, and other rare minerals. In my case, on behalf of the Illuminated Empire, La Luz.
Both minerals used batteries. Didn't realize you were. That is by design. I got rid of the accent on purpose. Much easier to fit in here without it.
Not for any good reason. It hardly supports life, but is all too ready to offer up a drawn-out death. I saw much of it out there.
Been to the moon?
Statistically, there is more death
Really?
happening around us here, but it is much crueler on the moon. Perhaps because the spirit is divorced from its home soil and cannot so easily return. It's what gives me hope that one day I will find peace. Of course, it makes the encroaching inevitability of my own death easier to deal with, too.
I hope my spirit makes it back without too much friction.
As do I. It's a comfort to know that it won't have to travel hundreds of thousands of kilometers through space at least.
What are you doing? I'd rather not get into details of past a second. There was nothing left for me. Hang on, I love details. They're not very interesting. I wasn't suited to the job and I had to leave. Something happened on the moon, something you will never be able to face again.
Very much. It's fairly peaceful. And I've always been quite fond of seafood. Though I will admit, I'm getting a little bit sick of shrimp.
It's nice to see the children here falling in love with the same toys I grew up with. Still do. Lots of Lusians imports as such. Very nostalgic for me.
As you depart, the chant of "I'm your man" starts back up behind you.
Cigarettes? Oh, what do these do?
Wild boar piglets snuffle through the city's trash, still wearing the stripes of babyhood like halitosis humbugs. Behold, the cloven hoofed effect of urban administrative collapse.
Root them.
You didn't bring any pamphlets or manifestos,
Oh, dear.
but where there are bullets, there are boars. An adult can be up to 500 pounds of bristled, pitiless hog with tusks.
Look for an adult book.
You scan from left to right, checking the alley's tangled contours for a hint of hairy maternal rage. There is none. No interest from the hogolescents.
Hogolescence. City should get rid of you.
Yes,
Another ball that's you.
you leave the boars to their devices.
Oh. I wanted to recruit them. A sec. Something catches your eye. Oh. I'll watch it. Fine.
An altar to Belarus, the bazaar's unofficial patron star. It is cluttered and precarious with offerings. The shrine lacks the sacred air of Mercian churches you knew as a child. It is an organic thing, maintained by locals of their own volition.
If I were.
A spectacle of Portoferan humanity. The steps worn with years of its visitors' hope and grief.
Whatever their meaning, they were enough to summon you here, now to this shrine rammed into the side of the city.
With them.
Ink stains and knife scratches adorn the shrine. Jagged words cast toward the flickering skies. In your guiding, we learn. Do you envy our brief, searing lives? Marco loves Puss Puss. As you fade, we follow.
Marco loves Puss Puss. Ah, great line. Damn on the
A
offerings.
collection of cheap plastic photo frames, haphazardly arranged on a red checkered tablecloth.
An improvised welcoming party,
Yes.
here to greet the distinguished visitor from the People's Republics.
Between them lie offerings and totems, a necklace, some out of circulation coins, an old packet of smokes.
There's no sign of the missing vendor.
Ouroboros Black, an imported brand.
As soon as you pick it up, you feel that whatever's inside it is not cigarettes.
Oh.
Outslide a few staple pages folded neatly into a little cuboid, almost exactly the dimensions of the package. Rite of passage. It's an exit visa. Permission to travel freely out of Portofero.
Oh. Kind of. This is a drop of something.
A hush falls over the shrine. A wisp of smoke tendrils into the air. An elderly man stares back at you from a printed headshot at the document's apex. Long black and grey hair swept back in a wave.
Augustino Dante, according to the name on the pages. Born in the year 27 in La Luz.
He's legit.
The name, who knows? The document, yes. City issued. Holographic stamp and all.
Just in case.
You refold the pages along their elaborate creases and slip them in your pocket.
Thank God.
You adjust your position and gather the appropriate reverence. The audience of framed strangers watches you in silence.
A prayer of interference. Your words hang in the air, brittle as glass.
serve me.
A crack of moonlight cuts across the shrine, the shadows bending unnaturally.
Serve me from the extra. Protect me from myself.
Your words are gone as they are uttered, careered upwards on the air's invisible wires.
Zero am lowered. First gain. Blessed by plus. Experience gain and 1 skill point.
The light around you is dimming. Behind the surrounding rooftops, dusk bleeds upwards.
Cool.
You step into the booth and press the receipt. You hang up the phone. The Guardian Municipal officer is intensely scratching at his neck. As you approach, he wipes his hand on his trouser leg.
Hola, miss. Hope there's a reason you've stopped an officer while he's on duty.
I'm not legally required to answer that.
I suppose not. Officer Morito, agente coordinador for the Guardia Municipal. Do you need help with anything? We've had instances of theft around the docks recently. All the crates were ripped open in strange ways.
Strange ways?
Yeah, messily and without tools. Seems like the work of kids, if you ask me.
Probably.
Must be trying to scare people too, as weird noises have been heard at night. Screaming and howling. Apart from that, it's quiet. Just how I like it.
Why? The most, not the worst thing. Gives you time to reflect on it.
The quieter, the better, I'd say. Really, the hardest part's keeping people away from the boars. That's the big one.
Saw little boars on the way back. In there.
It's not the young you need to worry about. We're dealing with an infestation, and they get much larger.
Everything alright there? Not his neck.
How bad does it look?
Scaly reliefs and cracked plates, like some diseased armor.
You should be hiding some far away from humanoid. Actually.
Shit, I knew it. I hope it's not the topical boar repellent I've been using. Instructions said to apply generously.
Oh.
An era was hoping it'd help.
Tell me about all this
It
infestation.
used to be a seasonal problem. Every autumn, some adults would come down bold and hungry. But lately, it's more of a permanent residency.
Down from where?
The hills up north, as far as I've heard. Valle de Suspiro. You've got thorns, ferns, old trees. A nightmare to patrol.
Oh, they
At
did.
best, they're a nuisance. The little ones are fine, but the adults could take off a kneecap if you're not careful. And then there's the really big one, the mother.
The way he intones the word mother suggests a primitive monotheist before an image of a graven god.
How big are the big ones?
Oh, 100, 150 kilos?
Oh shit.
Easy. Enough to stop a tuk-tuk going full speed. But even they got nothing on the mother.
Probably the
They
little
don't
ones.
seem so bad if they're alone. But they're never alone. Get 5 or 6 together and they can take down a grown man.
Ah,
Massive. Furs all matted. Covered in scars, territorial too. Preys on drunks, stumbling back from Party Alley.
my mother's the same way.
You shouldn't joke like that. All mothers are special. Even this one. No love like a mother's.
Sounds like you really admire the hum.
Anything that can survive on the streets of Kisok has got the stars' favor. And I have respect for
That's fair.
astrology. So when the mother comes around, I do my best to keep civilians out of the backways.
How'd you get this up?
Tusks, claws, knives, bullets. Take your pick. Every few years, some brave moron tries to take her down, but she stands undefeated.
Where would a brave, skilled moron find this beast?
You got a weird glint in your eyes. Let's not do anything stupid, all right?
What do I do if I encounter this boar?
You back away, slowly. If you get a whiff of it charging, find something to climb if you can. And then, come find me.
You know there's a creep up in the...
Not this
Yeah.
again. Did Aunt Carmuna put you up to this?
On.
Whose is it? My mother's sister. But she thinks that makes her my boss too. Even calls me Little Molitor. So, did she put you up to it? You asked for my help yet? Of course she did. That's the way of the country. Look, my aunt's a nice woman, but she always does this. It's fine if you want to help, but don't let her drag you into... Father Jam, aren't you supposed to help?
My hands are tied. Legally. Pylons are out of my jurisdiction.
Really? That doesn't sound right.
Hero tram companies have their own branch of the Guardia. Anything higher than 6 meters up in this city is their purview.
Why hasn't the branch stepped in then?
Good question. Really good question. We have a form for such inquiries. You'll find it at the central station in the Sunset.
What do you think's going on with your aunt?
She's been a worrier for as long as I've known her. Always some catastrophe or other looming. But it's not just that.
What?
Carmuna and most of the older folks, they can't accept that things overall are alright. Some people struggle with that.
What things?
Look around. What do you make of the bazaar?
Yeah. You're super block top. All the same. Gloomy sort. Anagama was a silk worker, you know. The bootlegs, all this Luzerne stuff. It's not what she's wrong. Apparently, I think she's just over every little thing. Show people was. Let her be a little crazy. Something like that, in her view. We all agree it's shit enough. We can tear it down. Bring back the artisans and factories. And not how the world works. Tear it down. The silks rang out decades ago, and the last silk factory closed in '88. And terrorists don't care about this. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a bazaar that Motoro wants either. It looks out over the stalls, but it's better than the graveyard. Why is it not reading anymore? That's annoying. The kid's still showing a photograph of someone walking by as she... He tells me about the whole payphone thing too, and dad assessed with. He did. Think there's any truth of it? It's nonsense, if you ask me. Naruto really feels for the kid, you know. Tongue clicks against his teeth. Fucking, you know, feeling him head is shit. How well do you know Malin?
Not well, but I've known her a long time. Eno used to bring her here as a toddler.
The dad is actually.
Yeah, Eno's gone. Him and his other fuck-up buddy Gilmar.
Alan wish her dad and Gilmore were true detectives.
Big word for two nosy retirees with more time than sense on their hands.
Yeah.
Figure these two just ran off, leaving the kid to deal with their mess.
Think they ran off together?
Not at the same time. That'd be too obvious. Eno reported Gilmer missing about a week before he disappeared.
That's a lot of skepticism around reported and disappeared.
Yep.
Way I see it, they started planting the phone story weeks ahead of time as a cover. Planned the whole scheme.
What for?
Got two theories. Debts is the obvious one, of course.
Ever gonna on Eno's in financial trouble?
It'd make sense. 80% of all disappearances are debt-related. The other 20's mostly divorces. Especially when a boat's involved.
So you don't know if either of them were in debt.
It's statistics. I can't argue with those. Now, if it's not debts, then we're clearly looking at something more salacious.
Salacious.
Two men, yeah? Old friends, close friends, detecting together.
Bit of old man love was not on a list of theories.
Whoa there. No need to get explicit. I don't need the image in my head.
He looked into this suspicious payphone issue.
Can't. Payphones belong to Renotel.
Huh. So what?
It's private business.
Yeah.
The Guardia Municipal doesn't have jurisdiction to look into that.
How very convenient for you.
Hey, I'd look into this in a heartbeat if I could. But Marito is not one to run afoul of the law. The law's not perfect, but it's there.
Hard
Yeah.
to argue with a non-existent point.
Oh,
Sure. Don't need to dwell on this sad mess. I can tell you Petra the music vendor's a major arsehole. I asked him about an old Blood Golem disc, and he told me he'd rather tie polystyrene blocks to his feet and jump in the canal than look for it.
Doesn't make sense. Why not go for something that sinks?
well, the sign floats, I'm pretty sure.
I told him as much. He said that was the point. His demise should be slow, so that I'd hear him scream for hours.
That does sound like him.
I don't get why he brings up all this violent stuff all the time. If he ever goes through with it, there won't be any shock value. It'll just be sad.
Yes, true. What's this blood golem?
Blood Golem is a band. Blood Golem heals all wounds.
Oh,
It's the sound that raised us from shit-crusted upright apes into humans.
big mistakes were better as monkeys.
The antithesis of Blood Golem, that. Sounds more like primitivist folk trash. Blood Golem might have been banned where you're from. Their post-sludges